Right. In the last session, we discussed about the introduction part of the database management system. In that, what is data? What is information? What is the difference between the data and information? What is database? What is database management system? Coming to the history of the database management system, what are the models that we are having in DBMS? In that, we are having a 6 DBMS models. Okay, if first one is file management system, hierarchical management system, network database management system, relational database management system, object relational database management system, and last one is object oriented relational database management system. Right. Next, we observe what is a file management system when they developed it. What are the drawbacks of this file management system? Next, what is the next model and what are the drawbacks in it? Okay, that we observe three models. Okay, that is file management system, hierarchical, and network database. These three models are outdated. Okay, and present whatever the databases that we are using that belongs to a relational database management system model, right? And what is RDBMS? Who developed that RDBMS? What is this 12 quad rules? Okay, whatever the databases that we are having, why this belongs to a RDBMS product. Okay, why? Because as per EF quad, it is going to satisfy some of the rules, quad rules. That is based on that we are saying this. Those are the relational database management system, and we observe the relations in a RDBMS. What is the relations? What are the types in that? Next, we observe what are the features of RDBMS. Now, in this session, we are going to discuss about, okay, already we discussed before entering into the development, first we have to design the model, right? After then only we will start it. For example, if you want to construct any house, okay, first we have to plan it, okay, first we have to design how to construct. Based on that, we will construct the house. Similarly, in databases also, okay, we are having one model diagram that is called ER diagram. That is called ER diagram. Here E is an entity, R is a relationship. Now let us observe what is this ER diagram. See, before going to develop any database, any original database, first the DBA, database administrator, right, will analyze the manual database information, and later he convert that database into a, okay, whatever the project, whatever the database that we are going to construct, that he is going to convert into one pictorial representation. That pictorial representation is called a entity relationship diagram, right? Observe here. Before going to develop any original database, first the DBA developer will analyze the normal, okay, the manual database information, will analyze manual database information, and later he converted into pictorial representation is known as entity relationship, that is ER, entity relationship diagram. This is called entity relationships diagram. When we design the entity relationship diagram, okay, we have to follow some of the symbols. Based on that symbols only, we can design the entity relationship diagram, right? When we design ER diagram, use the following symbols. First, okay, we have to follow we are having some of the symbols. Based on these symbols, we have to represent the ER diagram. First one is rectangle. The rectangle, okay, will represents the table name or the entity name, also called the entity name. And one more symbol we are having, oval symbol. Okay, these ovals are going to represent the column names of a table. Next, diamond symbol. This diamond symbol is going to represent the relationship between relationships between tables. This symbol, okay, this is one of the symbol. This is used to connect the tables, right? Once observe this. This is the rectangle. This rectangle will represents for the table name or the entity names, and this is the oval symbol. It is for column names of a table. Next, diamond. This diamond symbol will represent the relationship. This is the diamond symbol. This diamond symbol is represents the relationship between a tables. Next, it is the connecting. This is going to represent the connecting the tables. This is about ER diagram. Okay, before starting with any one of the database, first we will start with the entity relationship diagram. Before entering in that, I will show you how to take the database, how to design in a entity relationship model, right? Next concept we are going to discuss about the introduction to SQL. Here we are going to discuss about SQL. What is this SQL? SQL means it is a structured, the abbreviation is structured query language. If you take any other programming languages like C, C++, or C Sharp or Java or any other programming language, each programming language is having their own code, But if you take any databases such as SQL Server, MySQL, Oracle, DB2, or any other database, right? For all these databases, we are having one common language. That common language is called SQL. If you know the subject, if you know the concept of SQL, then you can work in any of the database that maybe belongs to Microsoft SQL Server or belongs to any other Oracle databases or IBM databases like DB2. Okay, we can work any database, right? This SQL is the common language for all the database, right? Now observe this, a structured query language is used to communicate with any database such as SQL Server, MySQL, Oracle, DB2, which belongs to IBM. Like that, we can communicate with any other database by using a language. That language is called a structured query language. This SQL was designed by, right? Already in the last session we observed one of the person is there. We call them father of the database management system. That scientist is name is EF Call, right? This SQL was also designed and developed by the German scientist. His name is EF Call. Right, in 1970s he developed this, but it is released in the market at the year 1972 with ANSI approval. Okay, this ANSI is one of the institute. See, however, if any product is going to release, first it is ISO is going to grant it. Okay, after developing the product, ISO will test that product after. Okay, after getting the permission, then only that product is going to release in the market. Similarly, actually, this EF code is developed in 1970, right? In 1972, ANSI is approved and then it released. Nearly it will take 2 years of time, okay, to test that SQL. This SQL is pronounced as a SQL. This SQL is pronounced as SEQUAL. Like this, we have to pronounce SEQL is a structured English query language. Okay, SQL is pronounced as a SQL. Now, let us observe the SQL will provide the common user interface facility, that is CUI facility. That is the only one language which can communicate with any type of databases in real time, right? This SQL is the only one language that is going to communicate with any type of databases in real time. And one more, okay, in SQL we are having some of the sub languages. Based on these sub languages only, we are going to create the database and we are going to work with the database. What are the languages that we are having? Let us observe. SQL contains the following sub languages. In the first one is, these sub languages are very important. First one is a data definition language. Data definition language. Next, data manipulation language. Second one, it is DML. Next, data query language, are also called as data retrieval language. Data query language are also called as data retrieval language. Next, transaction control language. Transaction control language, TCL. And next one is data control language, that is DCL. These are the 5 sub languages that we are having. Okay, see, each sub language is having some of the commands. Based on that commands only, we can work with these databases. What are those commands? Let us observe. Coming to the commands of sub languages are, first one is data definition language. Okay, so commands belongs to data definition language are, first is create, alter, rename, drop, truncate. Okay, these are the commands belongs to a DDL. Next, DML, data manipulation language. In this, the commands are insert, update, and last one is delete. Next, coming to the DQL, in this data query language, right, it is having only one, that is called select. But this select is very important in database management system, right? Most of the cases we have to work with this select command only. Now, next one is, what is the next sub languages that we are having? TCL, transactional control language. In this transactional control language, okay, we are having some of the commands like commit, rollback, save point. These are the commands under TCL. Next, it is DCL, that is a data control language. In this data control language, we are having 2 commands, that is grant and revoke. Grant and reward. See, each command is having the syntax, okay, based on some examples. Okay, we will discuss about this, what is create, alter, rename, drop, everything. Every command we are going to work. Next, now we know that we are having so many database softwares. Okay, now I am using one of the software here, that is MySQL. MySQL is one of the software, database software. Okay, now we are using this MySQL. First of all, let us discuss about what is this MySQL. MySQL is a open source relational database management system. Is an open source relational database management system. See, actually, the name came from, actually, it is name. It is name is the combination of, okay, the co-founder of the Michael Doctor. Okay, the Michael Doctor name is My, and SQL is the abbreviation for structured query language. That's why they named as MySQL. Right? Its the name is a combination of the name of the co-founder Michael Doctor, and SQL, the abbreviation of the structured query language. Based on this combination, they named as MySQL. Next, coming to the license, okay, it is a general public license. It is a free software. Anyone can download and anyone can utilize it. Next, it is developed by Oracle company. It is developed by Oracle company. Initially, okay, it is released on 23rd May 1995. Initially, it is released in 23rd May 1995. Okay, the stable release, that is a recent version of this MySQL is, okay, that is 8.0.12. It is released in the year 2018 in the month of July 27. Approximately 2 months ago, they developed one stable version, latest version of this MySQL. Right? The original author is MySQL AB, and it is written in C and C++. They written this MySQL. Coming to this MySQL, if you observe the advantages in it, right? MySQL is very fast, and it is also easy to use the relational database management system. Okay, being used for small businesses or many big businesses, right? MySQL is a fast and also easy to use a relational database management system, okay, being used for many small businesses and big businesses. Many small and big business purpose we have to use. This MySQL works on many operating systems, not only on Windows. It is a independent. It can work in any operating system. With many languages also, we can work with this MySQL. That may be C, C++, Java, or Python. Okay, all the programming languages can interact with this MySQL. Yes. If you, so many advantages are there. If you observe the MySQL, okay, it's a very quickly, okay, very fast it is, and works well even for the large data sets also, right? MySQL is very friendly for, is very friendly to R programming and Python also. It is very friendly for R programming and Python. See, once if you install MySQL software will be installed in your system. Then we have to work with the command user interface. Everything we are going to work with a command prompt. If you want to work with any graphically, if you want any support, then we have to install one IDE, integrated development environment. Once if you install this integrated development environment, then it is easy to use. For that, we have to install one software that is called MySQL Workbench. This is the IDE for the, okay, MySQL Workbench is the integrated development environment for the MySQL. For R, we are having one IDE that is R Studio. For Java, we are having a IDE that is for Java we are having Java Beans. Okay, Eclipse we are having. Similarly, for MySQL, we are having one IDE that is called MySQL Workbench. This MySQL Workbench is a visual database design tool, okay, that integrates the SQL development, administration, database design, creation, and maintenance into a single integrated development environment for the MySQL database design. Right? It is one of the IDE. Let us observe. MySQL Workbench is a visual database design tool that integrates SQL development, administration, database design, creation, and maintenance into a single IDE, that is integrated. IDE means integrated development environment, for the MySQL database system. MySQL database system. All right. If you observe the license of this, okay, we are having two licenses for commercial. Community edition, we are having general public license, that is a free license we are having. For standard edition, we are having the commercial software. One is general public license, and one more is commercial software that we are having. This also developed by Oracle company. Right, the stable, if you observe the stable release, a stable release is 8.0.12. With MySQL only they released this MySQL, and it is also written in C++, C sharp, and some C also. By using C code also they developed this MySQL Workbench. Next, we are going to discuss about how to install MySQL in our operating system, in Windows operating system. Let us observe this point. MySQL installation. Right, all of you follow these steps at the time of installation. Yes, let us observe this installation of MySQL. Okay, if you want to install the MySQL on Windows environment, then MySQL installer will provides to install MySQL with the following components. At the time of installation, all these components are going to install in our system. These are all the components that we are having in this MySQL installer. By default, all these components are going to install in our system. Right. Next, let us observe these points. How to install? We can install in two ways. One is offline, one is online. First, you have to download it. Okay, if you download, then in offline we can install it. Otherwise, by in online also we can install it. These are the steps that we have to follow. Right, they are having two files. One is offline and online. This is the link that we are having. If you want to install, this is the link, official link. That is, it is a open source and it is a free software. Right, anyone can download and anyone can use it. These are the steps that we have to follow. After that, after downloading, then double click on it. Once if you click it, it will configure the Windows SQL MySQL, and then it will start like this. First, it will appear the welcome screen. Okay, welcome screen will appear with several options. Choose the first option, that is install MySQL products. Click on this. Next, after clicking on this installer checks and downloads the latest MySQL products, including MySQL Server and MySQL Workbench. Right? Next, click on Next button to continue. Choose any setup type. It is better to choose the full option. There are several setup types available. Choose the full option to install the MySQL products and features. After clicking, it will check the requirements. Okay, what are the requirements that it require? Right. First, it will check all the requirements and then click on Next button. Okay, and it will start downloading. This is the installation process. Once if you click on Execute button, then it is going to download all these components, okay, which belongs to this MySQL installer. Right? After that, click on next one. The status will be shown like this. If it is successfully installed, then it is installed successful. It is in process, then installation. Like that. Okay, after completion of all, then click on next button and then click the next button to configure MySQL database server. Next, choose a config type and MySQL port. Here, by default, port is 3306. Okay, and then choose this uh, config type. By default, it is a development machine only. And then click on next button. Here, mandatory we have to give the password, root password. By default, the username is root. Okay, and then give the password and then repeat the password and confirm it. If you want to add more than one, then we have to use the add users. Click on add users and then we have to give the more number of users. Next, Windows service name. By default, it is MySQL 56. If you want to change the service name. Next, it is in process. Next, very simple to install. Okay, just click on next. No need to do any modifications. At the time of installation, just create the password for the root user and then click on next, and it is finished. It is successfully finished. Click on finish button. Like this, we have to install the MySQL in Windows operating system. Okay, once go to the official website, you can download in offline and online also. If you download that complete software, then go to offline. Otherwise, directly go to the online and follow the steps. Right? Next, before entering into the development, first it is better to discuss about normalization. Why? Because without normalized data, it is not possible to create the databases and manage the database. Right? First, let us discuss about what is normalization. What are the normal forms that we are having? What is normalization? What are the normal forms that we are having? What are the steps that we have to follow? Right? To create a database. How to normalize the data? Now, let us observe this. Yes, a normalization is developed by IBM, a researcher. Okay, he is the EF Cord. He is the EF Cord. We also called as, okay, we also called as the father of the database management system. Just a minute. Right. Normalization is developed by IBM researcher. His name is EF Cord. He developed in the year 1970s. Actually, what is normalization means? Normalization is the process of organizing the data in database, okay, to avoid the redundancy and to avoid the anomalies. Okay, and to avoid the anomalies we are having like insert anomaly, update anomaly, and delete anomaly. Here, normalization, what it is going to do means normalization split a large table into a smaller tables and define relationship between, okay, these tables to increase the clarity in organizing data. The words normalization and normal forms refers the structure of database. Next, these are the normalization rules that we are having. Database normalization process are divided into the following normal forms. There's a first normal form, second normal form, third normal form, and 3.5 normal form is also called as boy squad normal form, fourth normal form, and fifth normal form. These are the normal forms that we are having. Okay, now let us discuss one by one. Coming to the first normal form. What is the first normal form? When we say the table is in first normal form means whenever the data in each column should be atomic, no multiple values are separated by comma. That is the first condition that we have to follow to make the normal data into a first normal form, right? First, if you observe this, okay, here this is the one of the employee table with the department name and employee. Under department name it is IT. Under employees, okay, these are the three employees which belongs to department of IT. But whenever the data is like this, okay, here we can face a lot of problems like anomalies. It is not possible to insert, it is not possible to update or delete whenever the data is like this, right? And it is not satisfying our first condition. What is our first condition? Here each column should be atomic, but it is having a combination of some values, it is not atomic. No multiple values separated by comma. Here multiple values are there with separated by comma. So first it is better to make the data, okay, as per our requirement. Okay, what is our requirement here? What is our uh, step here? It should be atomic. Now I converted this data like this, but even though we are having some problem, what is the problem is if you follow the second step, then we will get clarity. The data does not contain any repeating column groups, does not contain any repeating column groups. As per first condition, okay, we divided the data, we make the data, we make the data as atomic, each cell as atomic. But here the problem is the columns are repeated. Okay, the group, okay, columns are repeated. What is the main advantage, disadvantage if the columns are going to repeat means, okay, if there is more than 3 employees are required to change the table structure. For example, there is 1,000, okay, employees. Every time, okay, 1,000 times we have to change the table structure. Getting my point? If there is less than 3 employees, the memory is wasted. See here, the memory is wasted, right? These are the some of the drawbacks that we are having if you not follow the second step. It is better to follow first step and second step, first 2 points. Then it is better to convert the data like this. See, IT Raju here, each value, each column is having only one cell. That is, each cell is having only atomic value. Next, there is no value. There is no values are separated by comma. Next, there is no repeated column groups, but some redundancy is there, right? For reducing the redundancy, we will follow the second another normal forms. But here it is not possible to delete the redundancy. It is not possible to delete the redundancy. Here we can here it is possible only to avoid the, okay, it is reduce the redundancy, right? Next, let us observe the second normal form. The table is said to be second normal form when it is said to be means first it should be, okay, it meet all the conditions of the first normal form. First, okay, a table meets all the conditions of the first normal form. That means the table is in a first it should be in a first normal form. Then no partial dependencies exist in between non-key attributes and key attributes that we have to follow. No partial dependencies. If you find any partial dependencies in the table, then avoid the partial dependencies. Move the redundant data to a separate table. Move the redundant data to a separate table, After separating the tables, then create a relationship between these tables by using, what is the key? By using foreign key. These are the steps that we have to follow in the second normal form. Once if you observe this table, right, here employee ID is the employee name, gender, salary, department ID, department name, department location. This employee name is dependent on the employee ID. Gender is also dependent on the ID. Salary is also dependent on the ID. Next, the employee belongs to which department means it is also depend on the ID. But whenever if you observe this department name, this department name is depending on, okay, it's not only depending on the employee ID, it is also depending on the department ID, and it is also depending on the employee ID. Some partially dependency, okay, we can observe here. This is fully dependent on this is also fully dependent on this. But whenever if you observe this department name, it is not fully dependent on the employee ID, it is partially depending on the employee ID and also partially depending on the department ID. So here, as per our second normal form, we are going to avoid these partial dependencies in our table. What are the problems that we are having in this means in this data redundancy, right? First, disk space wastage and data inconsistency. Okay, data manipulation language queries can become slow in this data redundancy. Now we are going to avoid these by following the steps of second normal form. See, we splitted the data into two tables. Here this is the one table and this is one table, right? There is no partial dependencies in between these tables, no partial dependencies. Next, let us observe third normal form. It whenever we when we say that it is in third normal form means first it should be in a second normal form. That means it meet all the conditions of the second normal form. Means first it meets all conditions of the first normal form and it is going to meet all the conditions of the second normal form. The main step here it is no transitive dependencies exist in between non-key attributes and key attributes. Let us observe. This is one of the example. First it should be in a first normal form, second normal form, and then no transitive dependencies in between key attributes and non-key attributes that we have to follow. If you observe this, the data here it is in first normal form, it is okay. Each cell it is having atomic, no separated, no values are separated with a comma. First it is in first normal form. Next, let us observe if it is in a second normal form or not. No. Why? Because it is not in a second normal form. This employee name is fully dependent on this. It is also fully. Okay, but this annual salary is not depending fully on this employee ID. And this department name and department location is also not fully dependent on this employee ID. Why? Because partially they are depending on this department ID also. First, it is better to convert the a table in a second normal form, and then we will try to convert into a third normal form, right? Now let us observe. Now we split that the data and then we find the partial dependencies here. Okay, transitive dependencies. Transitive dependencies means what? Okay, if x is depending on y and y is depending on x, okay, this is called a y is depending on z. X is depending on y, y is depending on z. This type of dependencies is called a transitive dependencies. To avoid those transitive dependencies, it is better to take like this: x is depending on z directly. Similarly, here also we done the same thing. Annual salary is depending on the salary, and we splitted all these tables like this. Now it is in a third normal form. Actually, in a real time, most databases, okay, those are in a up to third normal form itself. No need to go to boys code normal form and fourth and fifth normal form, right? This is about thought normal form. In real time, most databases are in up to thought normal form. Right? In this session, we discussed about what is entity relationship diagram and what are the symbols that we have to use. What is the representation of those symbols? What is SQL? Who developed and what are the sub languages that we are having in this SQL and what are the commands of each sub language? Next, we discussed about the MySQL, what is MySQL and what is MySQL Workbench, how to install the MySQL and what is database normalization, what are the normal forms that we are having, what are the steps that we have to follow to make the data into a normalization, right? Next, in the next session, we are going to discuss about, okay, how to actually what are the sub languages already we discussed in the what is a data definition language, the first sub language, that is what is data definition language and what are the sub languages, what are the commands that we are having in this data definition language, that we will discuss in the next class. Okay, each command we are going to discuss with the syntax and examples with we are going to create those database. We will took any one of the project, like any one of the for example any student database, okay, or any product database or any travels database. We will took any one of the database. Based on that database, we'll develop the